right, I'm here at UPS's 43rd Street Package Distribution Facility here in Midtown Manhattan, and I'm here with Chris Luttick. So, what am I looking at here, Chris?
About to see the drivers start their day. They're going to get ready to see how many packages they have, what they're going to be going out and delivering. You'd be amazed at what we deliver: mufflers, lawnmowers, shovels. Right now, this building employs about 1,200 employees, and they deliver about 140 to 150,000 packages every day.
Wow, that is a lot of packages.
And the neat thing about this is happening in Georgia, it's happening in Massachusetts, New Jersey. We're rolling out drivers all across the eastern board around 8:45 to 9 o'clock, and then that wave continues throughout the day to the West Coast. So it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is pretty amazing. And it's not just UPS. It's FedEx, USPS, DHL, and other companies all delivering hundreds of thousands of packages. And with online shopping on the rise, we can only expect more deliveries.
Every day, drivers are out battling rush hour traffic, maneuvering through hectic city streets with big trucks, and when they circle for parking, they're emitting exhaust.
Trucks account for about 22% of all transportation emissions in America. Plus, they're the single largest contributor to freight-related air pollution.
For the sake of our cities and our planet, things have to change. The future of delivery won't be loud and big and polluting. It'll be small, quiet, more sustainable. That's why companies like UPS are already experimenting with things like electric delivery vehicles and cargo bikes.
But there are other ways delivery could happen in the future, so that your package could eventually find its way to you, maybe even on its own.
Welcome to City of the Future, a new podcast from Sidewalk Labs. Each episode, we explore one idea or innovation that could transform our cities.
We're your hosts. I'm Vanessa Quirk.
And I'm Eric Jaffe.
And today, we're talking about an innovation that could transform the way you send stuff and get stuff. And frankly, the way you experience your city.
Delivery robots.
Before we get to robots, though, some context.
One of the thorniest problems in logistics is called the last mile, that final trek that your package travels to get to your doorstep.
It's not necessarily a mile. It's the distance that trucks travel from the distribution center to your house.
I'm Ann Goodchild. I am the founding director of the Supply Chain, Transportation, and Logistics Center at the University of Washington.
Ann's been focused on what happens after the truck pulls up to the curb, an even more complex slice of the last mile, the final 50 feet.
Typically that means, driver getting out of the vehicle, obtaining the goods, navigating his way across a sidewalk into a building to the receiver's location, handing off that delivery, getting the signature, and then returning to the vehicle. So that space is what we define as the final 50 feet.
Even if everything with a delivery goes according to plan, the truck is still just sitting idle on the street for a period of time. That's what experts like Ann call dwell time. It's not good for the driver, it's not good for the cyclist trying to get past this double-parked truck, and it's not good for the environment either if the truck is idling.
Plus, as any driver knows, there's a million reasons why the final 50 feet of a delivery won't go according to plan.
That last 50 feet was something that drivers learned about and made choices about on their own, right? They knew which door to go in. They knew what the security procedures were at each building. They knew which spots you couldn't back out of and therefore should avoid. There's a lot of just the driver knowledge.
But not even the most knowledgeable driver can solve the problem of no one being home.
The driver intends to deliver the package. He goes through all those steps. He parks the car. He picks it out of the back of the vehicle. He walks to the destination, and he cannot make that drop off. And then, has to repeat that attempt on another day.
So it's like missed connections on Craigslist.
Yeah, true. Small brown package.
Right.
Saw you.
You.
Leaving your office.
Exactly.
Ann has a surprisingly simple solution for long dwell times and failed deliveries.
Lockers.
The locker provides a smaller number of places the driver has to go. It can be easier to make clear to drivers where they're supposed to go if there's one location in that building. It's much faster for the driver to get from, his vehicle to delivery to back to his vehicle. And that reduces the amount of time that the truck sits idle on the street.
Anne discovered just how much faster this is when she put some lockers in Seattle's Municipal Tower.
We reduced the dwell time by 78%.
Oh, whoa. That's a big difference.
Yeah, and we had no failed deliveries after we implemented the
Wow.
locker. Yeah, so tremendous, right?
Right. And what about the folks who worked in the building who were getting these packages?
The reasons people participated were, this anxiety you have when you're waiting for a delivery that, can I go shower now? Or, oh my gosh, no, no, they're going to knock on the door as soon as I get in there. Or, you take one phone call and it goes to voicemail and you don't realize that they're calling. So from a receiver's point of view, they increase confidence that you will get your delivery on time. From a carrier's perspective, they reduce the cost of delivery. From a city's perspective, they reduce travel demand and dwell time. Everyone has a slightly different perspective, but it's positive for all of them.
So it makes sense why lots of buildings are starting to experiment with putting lockers in their lobbies or basements or mailrooms, and why some new buildings are having them built in.
And why they're showing up in places like grocery stores. Amazon's got lockers now in Whole Foods.
And Amazon has also started delivering packages straight to the trunk of your parked car.
So a locker doesn't need to be a stationary thing, I guess.
Exactly. And that's an idea that has some folks at Sidewalk pretty excited.
I would love to put some wheels on these things.
That's Sandra Rothbard, our delivery expert here at Sidewalk Labs. She's been thinking a lot about the way lockers could get to more people more easily.
It'd be great if they were on wheels so that they can be located next to a transit stop during rush hour, move over to the park during lunchtime when everyone's going to be gathering around, make it more efficient. Where we should be putting delivery lockers are where the people are.
But how can we make sure the lockers are where the people are when, like you said, people are constantly moving around throughout the city throughout the day?
So a lot of these companies are solving this problem through robotics, so that the locker is moving as a robot down the street.
Okay, so locker robots, so lockers that move by themselves.
Your autonomous vacuum cleaner is a robot. It's a very simple machine that's got wheels on it. That's what I'm picturing for lockers, just on a slightly bigger scale. This is the next opportunity for autonomous vehicles. The city of the future and the freight system of the future is quieter and smaller, even though it may move more things. I really think that the future of this is having a locker system that is autonomous itself that we actually interact with directly.
We may not have roving locker robots just yet, but we're closer than you might think.
Okay, I'm trying to think of how to describe this robot. So, okay, it's white. Okay, it's like a mini fridge.
I was gonna, if you didn't reach the conclusion of mini fridge, I was gonna say yes.
Marble is one of a few robotic startups currently testing their bots out in the wild. I flew out to Concord, California to meet the latest Marble bot and his robo-handler, Thomas.
Hey, I'm Thomas Koff. I am an operations specialist with Marble, and I'm here to keep the robot safe and to keep the public safe and to make sure that our robot behaves politely on the sidewalks.
Can we take it for a spin?
Yeah, totally. Let's
All
get
right,
into it.
Let's do it.
Oh, you've got a remote control.
I've got a remote control.
What does the remote control do?
The remote control pilots the robot and kind of selects what mode it's in. Right now it's in manual mode, so I have control here. And I can move it forward, I can move it backwards.
It's making a turn. So you're turning it, right?
I was turning it there, but now I'll go back into autonomy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It already seems to have a sense of where it's going.
Oh yeah, we've got 7x7 square blocks kind of mapped around here that we're operating in.
Cool, and so technically they could go by themselves, but it's because you're testing them that you have to keep an eye on them.
Yep, we're here to ensure their safety and the safety of the public and property.
What are the kinds of things that you're looking for?
If it's driving kind of erratically or driving towards a curb, we're also concerned about politeness. We're sharing the sidewalk with people, and so if there's, a large group of people coming, then we'll stop the robot, or if there's, kids or animals or something like that, we just want to be on our toes and make sure the robot is behaving nicely. And that's something we're building into our system, but until we get there, we want to have a human make those decisions.
Whoa, it's making a left. Was that autonomous?
Yeah, this is all autonomous. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so if I was getting a delivery and I get texted a code and then I just use that code to open it up?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Lift to open. Here I go.
There you go. And it's a smorgasbord of our photo equipment. Yeah.
And toilet paper.
There's also toilet paper.
There's a guy over here who seems like really excited. Like, hey, do you want to come take a look?
Yeah, why not?
Have you seen one of these before?
No, I've seen one on TV, but not in real life.
So if you could get a package delivered to you via robot, would you want to do that?
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Is that how most people react to the robot?
Yeah, you get a lot of people that are interested in kind of the robot and how it works and, oh man, it's a robot. We were promised these.
It's the future.
Yeah, it's the future.
And it must be pretty exciting for you too, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Part of it is bringing that from the lab out into the streets and being able to interact with people and share the stoke.
Totally.
As a Californian say, yeah.
Okay, I'm very jealous that you got to go hang out with a real California delivery robot.
Okay, well, you will have your chance. When I hung out with the folks at Marble, they told me that even though we are still in the early stages, things are happening fast. They've already mapped out Concord and neighborhoods in Arlington, Texas, so we could all be spending time with robots soon.
And so soon they won't need minders? They will be able to get around on their own?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I should be clear, the robot that I was with, it can already navigate around people and dogs and like piles of leaves. And that's because of this LiDAR technology that it uses.
Okay, LiDAR, that's like radar, but with lasers. That's the same technology as in autonomous vehicles, right?
Right. And it kind of works like echolocation. So you know how bats use sonar to map out their world? So it's like that, but with lasers. So the lasers will shoot out, figure out how close the objects are, and they use that information to make a 3D map of their surroundings.
But what about the final 50 feet? Your mini fridge may be able to navigate around some stuff on the sidewalk, but I don't see how LiDAR can help it open doors or climb stairs.
Well, I mean, LiDAR isn't the only exciting advancement happening in robotics right now. There's been an innovation called the actuator, and that's just a fancy word for an electric motor/gearbox, and it goes inside the robot's joints. And that's why the robots are getting so flexy now.
Flexi?
Yeah, I mean, that's the technical term, obviously. But to explain it better, I'm going to show you some viral robot videos. Here's a good one. It's like a robot dog actually opening a door with that creepy claw-like
It's his
head
face.
hand.
That's his head hand, yes. Okay, so you've convinced me that a robot dog can open a door, probably. Mm-hmm. But what about climbing a set of stairs? Or what about getting on an elevator and pushing a button?
Well, let me show you another video from Boston Dynamics. And Boston Dynamics are kind of like the leaders in viral robot videos right now. And this is one of their stars. It's a robot called Atlas. And Atlas, he's jumped in videos, he's rolled, he's fallen down, he's gotten up. And in this one, he's doing parkour.
All right, so I am literally watching a robot walk upstairs, or really jump upstairs.
But look at how well he jumps. Oh, slow-mo. I love the slow-mo.
Doing a little James Bond there. Okay. Goodness.
He probably could jump higher than me, considering I'm quite short.
Jumping higher than you would be the least of my concerns if you confronted that thing.
Would you be worried to run into him in the street?
I mean, I guess if he's hurrying to deliver me a package, then I want everybody else to get out of his way. I got 15 minutes left to hit the 2-day Prime delivery. I'm jumping. That's it. I'm going.
Imagine that arriving at your apartment door, and he's just going up. He's going up those stairs. He's opening the door. He is delivering.
That is one way to solve the final 50 feet.
There you go.
All right, so I can see this as solving dwell times and failed deliveries, but I guess the point here is that it's possible it's creating new problems in addition to solving the other one.
Okay, absolutely. But that said, I really don't think that Parkour Atlas is going to be the robot delivering our packages in the future. It's way more likely that it'll be a small robot like the Marble robot or the locker robots that Sandra was talking about. But no matter what they look like, cities are going to have to tell robots how to behave on our streets and our sidewalks.
I think one of the things we're all going to have to figure out, all cities is what are the rules for how robots use the right-of-way?
Rohit Aggarwala is head of urban systems here at Sidewalk Labs. Before Sidewalk, Rohit worked for the city of New York, where he helped write Plan YC, an ambitious urban sustainability plan that helped New York reduce its carbon footprint by 19%.
From a sustainability perspective, he certainly sees the advantage of robots over the huge polluting system we have today. And he's been thinking a lot about this question of how robots should navigate in a city that puts people first.
If they're smaller and lightweight and they respect the rules and they stop for pedestrians and they're not making a lot of noise and they're not belching terrible exhaust, all of a sudden that parcel delivery system doesn't become that scary at all.
Okay, yeah, not scary. But what about robot traffic jams? Like, it could be robot chaos with all these packages being delivered. How do we deal with that?
It could be that you push them underground. It could be that you think about special dedicated lanes for them. It could be that you make them drive at the speed of a bicycle, and therefore they might be able to use the bike lane and do so in a completely safe way that doesn't make the bike lane unusable for cyclists. One of the other big opportunities, though, is to think very much about how you use the streets at night. Robots are likely quiet. You don't have the noise associated with the nighttime deliveries. So the opportunity really exists to think very differently about pushing a lot of these deliveries to nighttime.
Okay, that makes sense to me, because if the robots can work at night, when there's less traffic on the street, then they can drop off your packages and they're just waiting for you in the morning.
Exactly.
That's like Christmas every day.
But what about local stores? What happens to them? I mean, in a world where a robot can deliver anything to you at any time, am I going to walk down my street and everything's going to be closed?
I think it's a big opportunity to think about how urban technology can actually foster more local retail. If you're going to compete with Amazon, which is going to get to hour and 15-minute delivery windows, and you're a small boutique local store, you have no chance with the current economics of deliveries. And a robot that you could hail and comes, picks it up and takes it away, and that's secure. All of a sudden, that boutique retail store has the chance to compete.
And it's not just local retail that has a chance to compete and thrive in this future. Rip believes that people like you and me could use delivery robots to borrow and lend things with each other.
Today, we often think about the automobile and how infrequently it's used. We've got a lot of other examples of equipment that lots of people in cities own that doesn't make any sense. Like the amount of time that a drill is actually being used is a couple of minutes a year, right? For most apartment dwellers, right? It's only when you move a painting or something that you buy some more IKEA furniture that you use your drill, right? But still, the economics, if you say, hey, Red, I want to borrow your drill, right? I can mail it to you. That doesn't make any sense, right? Because probably you didn't think you needed it until right before you needed it, right? I could send it to you on like a bike messenger or something, but that's going to cost as much as a cheap drill costs, right? So it's not going to happen. So you're going to buy your own drill. It's a total waste of equipment, right? But if for the price of a subway fare I could send it to you, all of a sudden that's a very different thing.
Many cities like Seattle and Asheville are already experimenting with sharing libraries, where you can borrow a tool or a tie. But Rit thinks that a robot delivery infrastructure could be used to make these sharing libraries work on a larger scale.
How do you break out of this current model of the big delivery van with a person and the risk or the need to hand off a package to another human being? And then move to a much more democratic peer-to-peer, out and back kind of approach that does allow me to use the delivery robot system to get my packages home, or me to lend you the drill across town, or the boutique store owner to compete on that 15-minute delivery window, but do so across the whole city.
In Rit's ideal delivery future, the final 50 feet, maybe even the last mile, are free of large polluting trucks.
Instead, there's a whole infrastructure of sustainable delivery options. Cargo bikes, electric vehicles, and delivery robots, all ready at a moment's notice to safely deliver anything at all.
We no longer have to stuff our small city apartments with things we only use once in a while. In the delivery system of the future, we could be buying less and sharing more.
Which is the most sustainable option of all.
Thank you for listening to City of the Future, a podcast from Sidewalk Labs. Your hosts are Vanessa Quirk and me, Eric Jaffe. We are produced by Benjamin Walker and Andrew Callaway. Mix by Sharif Youssef.
Special thanks to Sandra Rothbard, Rohit Aggarwala, Anne Goodchild, Chris Luttick, and Brian Clark.
Our art is by the great Tim Cow. Our music is composed by Adaam James Levine-Areddy. If you want to hear more of Adaam's work, you can check out his band, Lost Amsterdam, at amsterdamlost.com.
To learn more about Sidewalk Labs, visit our website at sidewalklabs.com, or you can subscribe to our newsletter at the bottom of the page.
See you in the future.